shooting as well, getting HP down. I get a fire adding to the damage, and we're finally hitting quite a lot of the superstructure, and the DPM just allows it to just blap him, and we make whole of England here, and welcome to I guess I'd say a pretty special video, as we are taking a look at the Tier 10 European destroyer, the Småland. Now this is, I'm going to be honest, a pretty amazing ship. Now I will admit this is not my first game in this, as this is technically my first impressions. As prior to this, I did play in a single co-op and then went for one actual random game. However, considering this is my second random game, this is kind of why I'm showing you this one, because of how ridiculous the actual score was. Now, at first I wasn't really too sure whether I was actually going to get this ship, because obviously this thing costs 2 million free XP. And I was sitting on that for quite a good amount of time, because at the end of the day, I was sort of debating on whether this is even worth buying, for the fact of I am nowhere near a DD main. I primarily play in cruisers and battleships, as that's just what I'm more comfortable in. And a 2 million free XP sort of cost, you know, for a class that I don't really play too much. I mean, I play a little, you know, marginally more than I do the carriers, and the carriers I barely play, so it was like, do I even need to get this? However, after sort of doing quite a lot of research, generally watching how this thing performs, if it's a good buy, and even people that said they weren't going to destroy said it was still a good buy, and at the end of the day, it's being removed in a month, and I just thought, well, at the end of the day, that means I've still got another month or something to get a load more XP, and if a new ship gets released, then it gives me a good amount of time to actually get it. Now, yeah, my general impressions of this are a sort of a quick rundown before the entire video, is if you are considering it and you are in the position to get it, then I would almost certainly say yes, it's worth getting it, because honestly, it's just brilliant. I mean, if you're someone who likes to rely primarily on torpedoes, then obviously this wouldn't be the best ship for you, but honestly I think it makes up for it in guns. And conveniently enough, here comes a Z52, my first target. Now you'll notice the reload is ridiculously quick. As you can see, I've actually got it down to about like 1.4 seconds, and that is without adrenaline rush as well. So, you know, that's something to note, is the actual damage per minute is pretty ridiculous. So while I've been actually talking here, I've already gotten 27 hits, and this Z52 is already on a portion, and a very small portion of that, of the health that he started off with, and we get our final shot in, and there we go. First blood and our first kill within probably about 30 seconds of actually shooting at it. So I think that was quite a good entry to really talking about the actual guns on this. Now, obviously the range isn't really the best. As you can see, it's currently about 12 or so kilometers here, but I mean, honestly, it doesn't really matter, because you're that maneuverable that, you know, at that range you're pretty safe, even if you are open water gunboating, because obviously one thing you can notice is, you know, obviously this is a European destroyer, meaning that it does not come equipped with smokescreen. However, the one very convenient thing is that this is actually equipped with a radar, as you can currently see, which, well, you're about to see how it's quite effective, but it's got a 7.5 kilometer range, and it is incredibly useful when hunting down other destroyers. Now, I've not played enough games yet to actually be hunting one in the smoke, however, I mean, as soon as that comes, it will be quite fun to do, because most of them have actually just open water boated here, like this Harugamo is about to peek around the corner, so I see him here, and I'm like, right, okay, let's start firing, and you can notice he starts smoking here. So, radar popped, and he tries escaping, but unfortunately, obviously there is still an island there, meaning I can't really make the most of the radar there, but even so I do manage to get 12 hits on him, so enough to scare him out, and then that allows me and the Shimakaze to actually start to cap this point. But I mean, yeah, it basically just, obviously if you know there's a destroyer coming or something, or someone just momentarily spotted them before they're coming towards you, then what a good thing is you can actually pop the radar. That will scare the other destroyer, because they'll be like, well, I have no idea what that is, and then they'll be like, oh, that's a Småland probably radar me, if they do realise quick enough, and then at that point you can start blasting them as they're sort of trying to panic and manoeuvre away, meaning that there's a good chance you'll probably win that gunfight if you get the opening salvo, and generally the DPM also allows that. And speaking of DPM, you know, the Småland is actually the contemporary to the Halland. However, obviously, you know, with the focus less on torpedoes, it's more on the guns. And, you know, very, very conveniently, you'll see I just get spotted, and look over here, there is a Halland. He starts at 22,000 HP, I'm already down to 16. Now, you know, place your bets on who you think is going to come out on top with this fight. I mean, I'm already still on barely 16,000 HP. he's also on 16,000 HP, so I mean, you can certainly see that this thing is incredibly good, just with the sheer amount of DPM that this thing can chuck out. And yeah, there we go, taking his engine out. And you know, we're just not letting go until we obviously get around this island, which is giving him cover. And also, I do miss quite a few of those shots just because they weren't the best aims. But even so, you can see I managed to chunk a hell of a lot of HP off him, even just in that short period. And because this thing comes with a actual repair party, means that I was able to mitigate a lot of the damage that was coming in anyway. So out of that engagement, I started off with 16k, came out with 14. He came in out, you know, in with 22, and he came out with, I think, less than I did, about 10k until he heals. So, you know, that alone is pretty crazy. Now, moving aside from the guns, the actual torpedoes in this thing, although there are less of them, you know, there are less torpedoes in this thing, they're still incredibly good, because obviously these are the same, you know, European torpedoes, meaning they've got a pretty fast torpedo speed. So at a base they've got 76 knots. However, if you want it, and I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, or at least from how I've played this so far, I wouldn't recommend it to spec it for torpedoes, because obviously you buy this for the guns. But I mean, the torpedoes themselves are still pretty effective, because they're still, just like the Hallands and generally the European Lion, are just quite hard to really outmaneuver if you're in a bad position when they're fired on you. Now, again, this is where the radar comes in useful. He goes undetected, the Halland does, meaning I can then just pop the radar as he tries to escape around the corner, curl some shots around, and then finish him off, allowing me to get my second kill, and that is 42,000 damage. So not primarily, entirely on destroyed within the first few minutes. This will obviously change, because as you can currently see, I'm now about to just blap this, well, not blap him, but more irritate him, I guess, just while I would go around the corner so I can get a few shots on and hopefully get a fire so he repairs it, and then when I start firing again, he will start to, you know, he won't be able to repair the next fire, but unfortunately that's not the case. But even so, it was just I was trying to sort of see where the extra superstructure gets as well, where to really aim and get that up. But yeah, as I was saying with the torpedoes, you can see, you know, it's they're very fast, so it means, you know, obviously when you got a target that's not manoeuvring too much. I mean, this Republic here, I'm going to be honest, I mean, what I did was not particularly special. I wouldn't really count that towards, you know, as being like, ah, yeah, it's because the ship's amazing that I managed to get these hits. You know, you'll notice that, you know, the Republic's not actually moved, and, you know, I started shooting, he knows I'm here, and obviously now he definitely knows I'm here, but he still doesn't maneuver out of the way, so I'm going to actually chalk this down to more the fact that the Republic play wasn't really the best, but even so, you can sort of see the torpedoes that come in that fast that there's going to be absolutely nothing he can really do to really counter them or maneuver away, because obviously look at the speed they're coming in. You know, by the time you really shifted, there's no chance, and I managed to get 6 target hits and 2 floodings, leaving him on a very small 6,000 HP. But he did pop his repair party. Now, another thing with this is it's an incredibly fast ship as well. I mean, obviously I'm slowed down at the moment, but it is incredibly quick. So it's got a maximum speed of 35 knots, but obviously you can increase that with the Sierra Mike signal. And if you just noticed that, I did just get a fire, and obviously he stopped the flooding, meaning that is a permanent fire. So even though he's now about to go unspotted in a second when I go around here, he's still not going to be able to repair that, because obviously he's got no repair party, I'm burning him, so all around I'm quite happy with that. But one thing this does have, alongside having that sort of, you know, quite quick speed, is it does have a speed boost, which increases the speed by, surprisingly, 30%. And there we go, we get our third kill. But that manages to get our speed up to 30%, which I do quite like again as well. I mean, but the only problem is it's only got an action time of 60 seconds, meaning what I found from this is if I try to get, you know, I'm trying to get away from somewhere, then it will serve the purpose, it will get me away from where I want to go. However, that's all it'll do. I mean, as soon as you've sort of used it for your intention, it's going to be out pretty quickly. So I mean, don't sort of rely on it just to, you know, like, oh yeah, you can pop it for like 3 minutes, like some other ships, or 2-3 minutes. This isn't the case. It's just a fact of, right, you want to get somewhere fast, you get to go there fast, and then it's sort of gone. So it's, you know, make sure to use it, I guess, effectively, and that's so far how I've been trying to play it. I mean, I've had a few subsequent games, and actually they haven't been as good as this game, but obviously that's why I'm showing you as well, just for the fact of so early on I've already got one of these games, so once I actually get used to this ship, then it's just going to be a fact of actually just really continuing to play it until I get that sort of magic game where I get over 200,000 damage, which would be pretty nice, and then there's the potential of getting a 100,000 damage, but I guess we'll just have to really see with that. I mean, with the actual health, it's it's pretty average, to be fair. I mean, obviously I've got the captain skill, so I do have a little bit more HP now, which obviously is pretty much an essential to go for in a destroyer. But even so, I mean, 22,000 with the maneuverability and the DPM this thing can chuck out, it's pretty hard to beat anyway. I mean, I did accidentally hit that Vermont, sorry about that, but I did put a sorry in chat. But you know, obviously, the thing with this is, you know, I've learnt that you can't just go in and, you know, just go, oh yeah, I'm going to win this fight with this destroyer, because at the end of the day, you are not going to win every fight just because of this DPM. Because I think in a subsequent game I went against a Daring, which is another gunboat, and actually lost that fight because we were both on full HP and both engaged in that, and I actually came out, well, I got sunk. And also, speaking of sinking, obviously I take that Thunder out, meaning I now get to my 4th kill, which is very nice. I'm very happy with that, so you know, only 1 kill away. But so, you know, you have got to sort of pick your targets as well. You got to know who you can definitely win against. And if you can't win against them, then you've got to try sort of a hit and run tactic. So if you can sort of spot them for a little bit if they're in a smoke or around a corner, get some shots off highly again, and then, you know, they're sort of worse for wear, and you can keep on sort of doing that, playing with them and just trying to take them out. Now, obviously, you can see here I'm now popping out my sort of speed boost here, because I'm like, right, okay, well, we've got this side of the map. However, there's a massive force. Well, I wouldn't say massive, but the majority of them are all over that side of the map. I kind of need to get there to, I guess, assist our Yamato and hopefully try and do some damage on that, even though we have got 2 caps. But as you can see, I was about to say, you can see it's kind of being contested, and that's by the Haragumo. But you know, at this point, I'm somewhat like, oh, which do I go for? Because at the moment we do have a Cyclone going on, and I'm like, okay, well, I can get some free shots on the Vermont just by using the aiming reticle on the map. But I might as well go with this Haragumo, because otherwise my gearings can definitely need the help here. Because, you know, it's a Gearing versus Haragumo, it's not going to be a fair fight, because the Gearing is more of a torpedo boat, the Haragumo is a, you know, it's a gunboat, evidently. So obviously, you know, if he gets in a gunfight, he's going to be pretty much sunk. But at the moment, no one's actually spotting him. I mean, I was considering to actually radar him, but obviously he got taken out already, so now it's just a fact of avoiding the torpedoes, and then I was going to get back to the Vermont. Now, speaking of the Vermont, you know, I don't feel bad for this. I mean, it was kind of a cheeky kill here. So, I mean, you're going to see in a second, you know, he's going to come out of the Cyclone here, so the 8 kilometers. And it's like, well, honestly, I've got 4 kills here. I'm just going to unload everything I've got. So I'm just like, come on, I need to hit every single shot here. Just unload everything. I mean, thankfully other people are shooting as well, getting HP down. I get a fire adding to the damage. And we're finally hitting quite a lot of the superstructure, and the DPM just allows it to just blap him. And we managed to steal. Yeah, we got the kill. There we go, sorted. 5th kill, Kraken unleashed, and yeah, that is perfect. Do get a +1. I mean, as I say, I mean, I feel quite bad for, I guess, the other Vermont that I took that from, but I really wanted that Kraken. I saw an opportunity to take it, so obviously I took it because it's a Kraken. Who doesn't want to have a Kraken? I mean, it's just yeah. And yeah, that guy said no problem. There's a, you know, I did say sorry for this steal, but yeah, I was just quite happy for that. I was like, you know, wow, this is all my first games, and I've already got an opportunity to get a Kraken. Obviously, this is all situational. I mean, you know, at other times, you know, you could be doing, say, even 200,000 damage, 300,000 damage, and barely get any kills at all. I mean, when I got 300,000 in my Conqueror, you know, I didn't get a Kraken or anything like that, but it was more just the effect of damage and helping out the team. However, unfortunately, obviously, with me being like, wow, I've just gotten a Kraken, I did, I guess, let my ego get the better of me, as you can see, that is a Minotaur. And this is probably one of my favourite ships, the Hms Minotaur, for the fact of its capabilities of absolutely ripping a new one for enemy destroyers. Now you're thinking, oh, well, I don't care, I'm in my shiny new boat, and I know how weak the Minotaur is, I'll just open the water gunboat in. I have killed a lot of destroyers, and I know how fast I can kill them, especially at this range. And after I lost, you know, about 10,000 HP, I realised, you know what, I should probably disengage here. So I'm like, right, okay, go straight forward. Kind of wish I had my speed boost here to get away faster, but thankfully we get saved by the Cyclone, and now it's just the shells in the air. But yeah, you can see one more shot, 288 HP. That could have been a very different story, and at that point I learnt my lesson, and you're probably about to see in chat as I put that as well, because yeah, that was pretty stupid of me. But I just thought, yeah, I can get the Minotaur easy, there we go. But yeah, no, that's something I don't think any destroyer can really, even these new German destroyers that are going to have about 30-odd thousand HP in the incredibly high caliber armor piercing shells. You know, if you're going that close to a Minotaur, it is pretty much granted you're dead. I mean, because my loadout, I usually go for a radar for it so I can actually hunt them down. And yeah, it works incredibly effectively, as I have tested many, many times, you know, countless times in clan battles. And yeah, so at the end of the day, that was basically the end of the game. I'm just glad I didn't actually get killed. We managed to get another fire, and that sparks the, well, sort of marks the end of the game. So, we come to the actual results screen here, and yeah, I mean, honestly, my impressions again, I just absolutely love this ship. So you can already see, so I got the Confederate Award, I got the Dreadnought Award, I got the Kraken Unleashed, and the First Blood, with 379 main battery hits, which is incredibly good, considering I wasn't actually hunting down really many battleships. So obviously, if I start hunting down a lot of battleships in a game opposed to destroyers, I can imagine the actual amount of damage is potentially going to be a lot higher. As you know, it's a lot of that was just more just versing destroy, because I just wanted to get them out of the game instead of you know, oh yeah, farm damage. I just wanted to see how effective this thing could be, and got my answer. It is incredibly effective, and I can see why it's being removed from the game in about a month. Now, yep, 6 target hits, as I say. I mean, that was less down to skill, more the fact of an incompetent player. I mean, fair enough, he could have just been distracted or something, because I mean, I know sometimes I am watching videos, so I'm not going to say he's stupid. He could have just been distracted or something, but either way, he allowed me to get a pretty easy torpedo strike on him. 8 incapacitations, 5 destroyed, which is, you know, obviously the Kraken. Good amount of fires, a couple of floodings defended, and generally just a very, very good result. Now, obviously, I am top of the team with that result, so a nice 2700 base XP there, which is pretty incredible, I'd say. You know, I was just generally really happy with that. But I mean, props to the Minotaur. I mean, considering he's on the losing side, he's done 1.7k base XP, so he did something incredibly good too. And actually, so did his teammates. So by the looks of it, they must just be incredibly good players, as they're in a div and they both managed to come top of their team. And also, oh, the last alive as well. So yeah, definitely must be good players. As for the damage, you can see, obviously, you know, it's a good amount of damage there. So the crazy amount of 79k in the Republic, the Halland 19k, Thunderer not too much, obviously, because that was just more I got lucky in the terms of my volleys getting in just as he got to a very low amount of HP. Z52 again, that was just, you know, very nice to smack him for that. Vermont 7k, not too much. That was more just the fact of, yeah, getting the shots that I could. Minor 10k, and then the rest I don't actually have. Now, for the credits that this thing can earn as well is pretty good too. So even without premium, so obviously when my premium does run out, I probably won't be buying any more anytime soon. But this thing does allow you to get a lot. So you can see just under 400,000 damage, well, credits there. But I mean, that was from a very good game. So I mean, obviously more average games will probably be about 300k, maybe 250, depending on how badly you play. But even so, it's got pretty good credit making capabilities. And if you stick any flags on, that will just get it even higher. And that is pretty much it from me. If you did enjoy that impressions video or just found it generally useful, then make sure to leave a like. If you've got any questions or just generally want to let me know something in the comments below, then obviously drop a comment. I mean, if you do want to speak to me more in general, then I do have a Discord now, as you know, I did release a video recently, so you can find the link with that in the bio, well, in the description below. And that's it from me. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.